Awesome. So I'm here at day 2 of the New Zealand podcasting conference, and I'm with Natalie Cutler-Welsh, who is also known as the go-to girl. How are you today, Natalie?
Hey, Mark. I'm really good. I just finished my talk, so that was fun.
Yeah, it was. You talked a little bit about social media and connecting and things like that. Do you want to highlight for people that weren't in the room today, like maybe some of the key points that you highlighted?
Yeah, sure. So I talked about when you're doing a podcast, it's so important to really know your goal. I talk about knowing your goal. And one of the other ways of thinking about that is I call it your so that, like kind of like your why. What is your so that for your people, your audience? And also what is your so that for yourself? Like why are you doing it? What are you trying to achieve? So that was one of the topics that I covered.
Cool, yeah. No, and I have to say on a personal note, I found that quite challenging because I've always said, like, up until this point, my podcast has been very much like therapy, like just kind of talking out loud and working out these big ideas about beliefs and why I believe what I believe and what I even believe anymore and things like that. But I was challenged by what you said because I do want to kind of hone in to where I'm going and sort of think more about people who are listening, because I don't, to be honest. I'm like, I get emails every now and then from someone. I'm like, oh yeah, I actually have listeners, So I'd be keen to hear from you. Like, when you started out in social media and doing, putting stuff out there, what was it like for you? Like, did you start getting feedback straight away, or has it been over time, or what do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've got 2 podcasts. One is called If Only They Told Me. It's a parenting podcast. And I've also got Go-To Girl, which is a business podcast, primarily for women entrepreneurs. And so I will often I did get feedback straight away, but I already had a profile on Facebook. And so the podcast kind of came after a wee while. So people, and I also started a private Facebook group called Go-To Girl Social Media Networking, which is a free group. And so people were able to give comments and feedback in there as well.
Cool, awesome. Do you want to maybe just highlight, obviously this is like the last day of the conference and things like that. Obviously Cliff has said some pretty amazing things, and what are some of the key points that have stuck out for you personally? Have you got any kind of highlights?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was great to hear, Cliff and Victor from the Youngpreneurs as well had some great comments. And I think the main thing is, focusing on, most of us come out of it, we're doing it for passion, right? We're not thinking, ooh, this is going to make me millions of dollars. I mean, it might make you millions of dollars, but most of the people they start from a place of passion or an area where they have an interest or an area of expertise. And they just go from there. And I think one of the main things is, just being genuine. I think that's one of the key messages of this conference is you've heard the word authenticity tons and tons of times. And so being who you are, and the beautiful thing about podcasting is usually you don't have to answer to anyone. Like, so you can just get out there, like you were saying, you're just talking, you're just sharing your story. Everyone's on a journey, right? Everyone's on a journey. So as people listen to our podcast, they get to know us better, but not just the us that we're trying to present. They get to know us along the way, the trials and challenges and the joys that come. So I think people quite like that. They like to know that, there's other people out there that are also on the journey, whatever that journey might be.
Yeah, awesome. I guess just in closing, what you talk about the why, like why we do what we do, and things like that. Do you want to just maybe summarize your why, like why you do what you do, and then just in final closing, just give out your social media links and stuff like that? That'd be awesome.
Sure. So my business podcast, Go-To Girl. So I do that to help women who want to have more fun and flow in their life and business, so that they can have more impact on the world. So for me, a lot of it is about how can I surround myself with women who have a product or service, that's fine, but they also have a burning desire to make a difference, whatever that might be, with their particular area of, product or service. And so for me, I just want to help them. I want to shine the light on what they're doing, help them to get, meet more people. So I'm also about networking, not just about social media, but social media is networking, so that's pretty cool. So people can find me mainly on Facebook, so Go-To Girl Social Media. I've got a Blab show at the moment called Inspire Hire, so if you're on Blab, check that out. And I'm also, I'm all over the place, but my main places, Facebook, Instagram, and Blab.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I'll just start that. Awesome. So I'm here at day 2 of the